It's a first warning weather day as we enter into what should be our first heat wave officially of the summer. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here for Western Mass News at 6. I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer. Chris Pisano is off for tonight. We do have team coverage for you as we tackle this summer scorcher. Reporter Matt Satilli standing by with how kids are keeping cool in the heat. But first, let's get the latest on our forecast from meteorologist Don Maher. And Don, it is just so stuffy and unbearable out there.
Yeah, certainly not a great afternoon to be outdoors, Jordan, as we have been dealing with the heat and the humidity. In fact, heat advisories do remain in effect for all of Western Mass, for Berkshire County till 7 p.m. tomorrow, and then for Franklin, Hampshire, Hamden County till 7 p.m. on Wednesday, as we will deal with this heat for another couple of days. Feels like temperatures upper 90s, lower triple digits. It's exactly what we saw out there this afternoon. In fact, the only area in southern New England not under the heat advisory is Cape Cod and the Islands, where temperatures right now are in the 70s. In fact, Chatham at 75. There's your relief from the heat. 93 in Boston. Boston tied their record today at 97. Hartford coming in at 92. Bradley fell a degree or two short. I think we may have fallen a degree or two short as well. I'll get our official number a little bit later on this evening, but right now we are coming in at 93. Dew points upper 60s and lower 70s. So heat index values now, for the most part, in the mid to upper 90s, though Boston still has a heat index of 102, feels like 96 in Worcester, and even here in Springfield still feels like 99 out there. And we are dry. Some showers did try to work in from Berkshire County, did not make it in. Still a very slight chance for an isolated shower as we move through the evening, but temperatures slowly falling through the 80s. In fact, even as we head towards midnight, we're still going to be in the mid 70s. Overnight tonight, temperatures mid 60s to lower 70s, and then tomorrow we're going to do this all over again. Mostly sunny skies, hot and humid mid 90s, with heat index values once again in the lower triple digits. I'll have more on this forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes from now. Jordan?
All right, Don, thanks. Our team coverage of the summer scorcher turns to the hot day at camp for some and a long-awaited dip in the pool for others. Western Mass News reporter Matt Satilli joins us live in Springfield with more. Matt?
Jordan here at the Jewish Community Center in Springfield. Summer camp is in full swing with over 185 campers in attendance today. I caught up with the camp's director to get answers on what's in place to help keep kids safe during the hot weather.
First thing I do when I wake up in the morning is check the forecast. But in heat like this, we have water coolers out and about, make sure they're always filled.
Summer camp director at the Jewish Community Center, Kyle Andalina, tells Western Mass News keeping the kids cool is at the top of his agenda from the moment he wakes up. But some days the fun has to be moved inside.
If the heat index gets too high, we do have to go inside, so we're always monitoring where the heat index is.
He also adds part of camp counselor training includes identifying signs of dehydration and heat stroke. And on Monday, water games make up a big portion of the camp schedule.
We try to encourage the kids to make sure they go swimming on days like this and make sure they actually get in the water so they can cool down for a little bit. Otherwise, we got tons of water games outside, some sponge races, some drip, drip, drop, lots of fun stuff.
Over in Holyoke, the Pouliot Pool got the go-ahead to open on Monday afternoon for the first time in years.
Very exciting. We've been 7 years out of this pool. I was very happy to have it open today.
With the temperatures in the 90s this week, the pool should be a popular place to be.
You're anticipating a big crowd today?
With a heat wave, yes. Today, tomorrow, and the weekend.
As for her tips to stay cool,
hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
But not all water features in the city are open to the public. A Western Mass News viewer alerted us to the Carlos Vega Park, where the splash pads usually filled with kids remained dry on Monday. We reached out to the Holyoke Parks and Recreation Department to get answers and received this statement that reads in part: Carlos Vega Park isn't operational just yet, as there is road work happening on all four sides of the park. As soon as it is safe for children to get there, the water spray will be on. And we will keep you updated as more community pools, splash pads, and water parks continue to open. For now, reporting live in Springfield, Matt Satilli, Western Mass News.
And to stay up to date on the summer scorcher, including the latest on our forecast, be sure to download our free streaming news app or log on to westernmassnews.com. And we're following breaking news out of Northampton, where a bicyclist was hit by a car on Pine Street. That's where we find Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis, who joins us live from that scene with the latest. Leon?
Jordan, police tell us that the bicyclist was transported to Bay State Medical Center for serious injuries, but they're not life-threatening. Now, police are wrapping up their reconstruction of the scene here, and they're expected to be out of here within the hour. Now, we can confirm that the bicyclist is a man in his early 70s. Police say the call came in around 1:40 this afternoon. This part of Pine Street is still closed off. Police are still investigating what happened here. No arrests have been made as they're trying to figure out who was at fault. We're going to give you you more details and more information both on air and online as we get it. For now, live in Northampton, Leon Purvis, Western Mass News.
All right, Leon, thanks for that live report. Getting Answers True Crime. Nearly 50 years after his death, murdered altar boy Danny Croteau is laid to rest a second time. Today at Hillcrest Park Cemetery, family and friends gathered to have a new ceremony about a month after law enforcement announced their plans to arrest the boy's priest for the crime. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo spoke with Danny Croteau's brother. She joins us live now in Springfield with more. Audrey?
Defrocked priest Richard Levine died before the Hamden DA could arrest him for the 49-year-old murder case. However, Danny Croteau's family says today was still symbolic. Joseph Croteau tells Western Mass News he didn't think his family would have the chance to eulogize his brother Danny a second time. He also didn't think law enforcement would ever be able to convict the 13-year-old's killer nearly 50 years later. The man law enforcement says murdered the altar boy was Catholic priest Richard Levine, who died last month after contracting COVID-19 and before charges could be filed.
He was the person who identified my brother's body. He deceived my parents into thinking that we couldn't have an open casket at that. Then he presided over the funeral mass. And
this time, the priest presiding over the ceremony was one who stood up to the Springfield Catholic Diocese in the early 2000s. James Scahill and his parishioners sought to expose child sex abuse in the region.
The fact that someone who is in his position, at his stage in life, who had everything to lose, he stood up against an organization that's been able to get away with a lot. And that's impressive.
Another thing bringing the Croteau family peace, the notion that Danny's spirit isn't alone.
He's with my parents right now. I think he's given them a hug and a kiss, my two brothers, and they finally rest in peace. I can't ask for any more than that.
Levine was later defrocked in the early 2000s following a conviction for child sex abuse involving different children. Live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.